The cold stone walls of the monastery in Warsaw echoed with the faint, ethereal sound of a choir singing Salve Regina. Inside a sparse infirmary room, Sister Faustina lay in bed, her face pale and beads of sweat on her forehead. Sister Jolanta entered with a basin of water, her expression a mixture of concern and mild annoyance. "Faustina, you've broken another plate today. The Mother Superior is asking if you are ill again," she said. Faustina tried to sit up, her body trembling with fever, but her eyes were bright with an inner fire. "I am fine, sister. It's just a little weakness," Faustina replied, trying to hide her discomfort. Just then, Tanya, a young novice with a rebellious streak, burst into the room, ignoring the rules of silence. "Tanya, you know you are not supposed to be here," Sister Jolanta scolded, but Tanya just smirked. "I heard Faustina was sick again, and I wanted to see if she was faking it to get out of work," Tanya sneered. Faustina looked at Tanya with compassion, sensing the deep pain and turmoil hidden behind the girl's angry words. "Please, Tanya, do not speak like that. Our Lord sees everything," Faustina said gently, but Tanya just scoffed. Later that night, Faustina's fever spiked, and she fell into a delirious state, tossing and turning in her narrow bed. In her vision, her guardian angel appeared, a radiant figure pointing towards a dark, misty abyss. She was taken to purgatory, a place filled with grey shadows and the mournful cries of suffering souls. The souls reached out to her, their faces twisted in agony, begging for prayers to alleviate their suffering. Suddenly, a bright light pierced the darkness, and the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared, bringing comfort to the souls. The next morning, Faustina, still weak but determined, told Sister Jolanta about her vision of purgatory. "Sister, we must pray for the souls in purgatory. They are suffering so much and need our help," she pleaded. Sister Jolanta looked at her skeptically, dismissing it as a hallucination caused by her high fever. "Faustina, keep these visions to yourself. People will think you are mad," she warned, shaking her head. Before she was Sister Faustina, she was Helen Kowalska, a strong girl accustomed to hard labor from a young age. To save for a meager dowry, she worked long hours as a servant, scrubbing floors and tending to wealthy households. Despite her exhaustion, she would wake before dawn to attend Mass, her heart already belonging to a different world. She begged her parents for permission to enter the convent, but they refused, citing their poverty and debts. "We need your wages to survive, Helen. We cannot afford the dowry for a bride of Christ," her father argued. Her mother added, "With so many children, I need your help at home. Stop this foolishness about becoming a nun." They pushed her towards Karl, a young man of good standing, hoping marriage would settle her restless spirit. To please them, Helen tried to stifle her vocation, dressing in fine clothes and attending social gatherings. One evening at a dance, while waltzing with Karl, the music and laughter suddenly faded into a dull hum. Beside her handsome partner, she saw a horrifying vision of Jesus, stripped of his clothes and covered in wounds. The suffering Christ looked deep into her soul and asked, "How long will you keep me waiting and deceiving me?" Overwhelmed by guilt and love, Helen stopped dancing, leaving Karl confused and standing alone on the dance floor. She ran from the party, tearing off her jewelry, and rushed desperately to the Cathedral of St. Stanislaus Kostka. Ignoring the few people present, she fell prostrate before the Blessed Sacrament, begging for direction and forgiveness. From the silence of the tabernacle, she heard a voice, "Go immediately to Warsaw. There you will enter a convent." Without returning to the dance, she went home, packed a small bundle, and prepared to leave everything she knew. She woke her sister quietly to say goodbye, whispering, "I must go where God is calling me, right now." With only the dress on her back and no money, she boarded the train to Warsaw, trusting entirely in Providence. The journey was frightening for a country girl, but the burning fire in her heart consumed all her fear. She arrived in the bustling city of Warsaw, a stranger in a strange land, searching for a door that would open. Helen knocked on the doors of countless convents, but was rejected by each one due to her poverty and lack of education. "We do not take maids here," one Mother Superior said coldly, closing the heavy wooden door in her face. Finally, she was accepted by the congregation of the Sisters of Our Lady of Mercy, but on a probationary condition. She had to work as a housekeeper for a year to earn a modest dowry before she could even enter the postulate. Once inside the convent walls, the reality of religious life was far harsher than her romantic dreams. Her duties were lowly and endless, working in the kitchen, the bakery, the garden, and guarding the gate. Yet, amidst the drudgery, her soul soared, finding Jesus in the pots and pans and the garden soil. But her health began to fail. The damp convent air and heavy labor weakened her lungs, leading to tuberculosis. Back in the infirmary, Sister Faustina's condition worsened, and rumors of her sanity began to circulate among the sisters. Sister Jolanta brought a doctor, who examined Faustina with a grim expression, shaking his head at the nun. Her lungs are deteriorating. She needs rest and fresh air, not work and fasting, the doctor advised. Sister Jolanta sighed, frustrated by the extra burden, while Tanya watched from the doorway with a strange curiosity. That night, Jesus appeared to Faustina again, standing by her bed in a white robe, radiating peace. Faustina, I wish to entrust you with a great task, one that will save many souls. He spoke softly. Paint an image according to the pattern you see, with the signature, Jesus, I trust in you. He revealed rays of red and pale light streaming from his heart, symbolizing blood and water. I desire that this image be venerated, first in your chapel, and then throughout the entire world. Faustina, overwhelmed by her own inadequacy, asked, Lord, I do not know how to paint. Who will believe me? Do not fear, Jesus replied. I will be with you. Your task is to be faithful, not successful. The vision faded, leaving Faustina alone in the dark room, her heart pounding with both joy and terror. The next morning, Faustina approached Mother Superior with trembling hands, recounting the request for the painting. Jesus wants an image painted? The Mother Superior asked, raising an eyebrow behind her spectacles. Yes, Mother, with rays of blood and water, to be venerated by the whole world, Faustina answered earnestly. Sister, you are ill and perhaps hallucinating. Go back to your duties and pray for clarity, she dismissed. Discouraged but obedient, Faustina returned to the kitchen, where the pots seemed heavier than before. Tanya, observing Faustina's sadness, approached her while peeling potatoes. Did they yell at you again? No, Tanya, they just don't understand, Faustina sighed, scrubbing a stubborn stain on a pan. Maybe you times are times crazy, sister. Visions, voices. It sounds like a fairy tale, Tanya said, biting into a raw potato. It is real, Tanya, as real as this potato in your hand, Faustina said, looking her in the eye. Meanwhile, Faustina's health continued to decline, and Father Sopoco, the convent's confessor, arrived for his weekly visit. Faustina waited in the confessional line, her heart pounding, hoping this priest would finally listen. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned, she whispered through the grate, and then poured out her soul. She told him everything. The vision of purgatory, the suffering Jesus at the dance, and the request for the image. Father Sopoco listened intently, rubbing his chin, his interest piqued by the detail and sincerity of her words. Sister, this is a serious matter. If this is truly from God, we must test the spirits, he advised cautiously. You must write down everything Jesus says to you in a diary. Do not omit a single word, he commanded. Faustina felt a wave of relief. Finally, someone was not dismissing her outright but offering a path forward. That night, she began her diary, writing by the light of a small candle, her hand moving swiftly across the page. Divine mercy in my soul, she wrote, capturing the words that burned within her heart. But doubt still lingered in the convent corridors, and Sister Jolanta watched Faustina's writing with suspicion. Sister Faustina, what are you writing so late at night? Sister Jolanta demanded, pushing the door open. Faustina quickly closed the notebook. Father Sopoco instructed me to record my experiences, she replied calmly. Experiences? You mean your dreams? Jolanta scoffed, eyeing the notebook like it was contraband. Be careful, sister. Pride comes before a fall. Do not think you are special, Jolanta warned before leaving. Despite the skepticism, Faustina continued her work, driven by the urgency of Jesus' requests. One day, while praying in the chapel, Jesus said, "My daughter, tell the world about my inconceivable mercy. I desire that the Feast of Mercy be a refuge and shelter for all souls, especially poor sinners." He promised that on this day, the very depths of his tender mercy would be open to all. Faustina wrote these words down, her heart aching for the sinners Jesus spoke of with such love. Meanwhile, her physical condition deteriorated further, and she was sent to a sanatorium in Pradnik. The fresh air and rest were meant to heal her, but her soul remained restless for the mission. Even in the hospital, she ministered to other patients, offering comfort and prayers for the dying. She met a young woman named Wanda, who was bitter and angry at God for her illness. "Why does he let us suffer?" Wanda cried, throwing her rosary on the floor. Faustina picked it up gently. "Suffering is a mystery, Wanda, but it can be a bridge to him." She taught Wanda the Chaplet of Divine Mercy, a prayer Jesus had recently dictated to her. "Eternal Father, I offer you the body and blood, soul and divinity of your dearly beloved Son," she prayed. Slowly, Wanda's anger melted into tears, and she began to pray along with the frail nun. Back at the convent, Father Sopocko found an artist named Eugene Kazimirovsky to paint the image. He arranged for Faustina to visit the artist's studio to provide detailed instructions for the painting. Eugene Kazimirovsky painted patiently, mixing oils on his palette, trying to translate the nun's mystical descriptions into physical form. Faustina visited the studio repeatedly with Father Sopocko, but each time she looked at the canvas, her heart sank. "It is not right," she whispered to the priest. "His face is not as majestic as I see him in my visions." When the painting was finally finished, Faustina returned to the chapel and wept, overwhelmed with deep disappointment. "Who will paint you as beautiful as you appear to me?" she cried out in anguish to her Lord. Jesus answered her distress. "Not in the beauty of the color, nor of the brush lies the greatness of this image, but in my grace," he assured her, validating that the painting was merely a vessel for his power. Father Sopocko, trusting the revelation, arranged for the image to be displayed publicly at the Ostrobrama gate. Meanwhile, the spiritual warfare intensified, and one evening Faustina received a terrifying vision in her cell. She saw an angel of divine wrath, dressed in dazzling robes, holding a bolt of lightning, poised to strike the earth. The angel was about to punish a specific city for its sins, and the clouds darkened with impending doom. Desperate to save the people, Faustina began to pray, but her usual prayers seemed to have no power against the angel. Suddenly, she felt the power of Jesus' grace flowing through her, and she heard words spoken inwardly. "Eternal Father, I offer you the body and blood, soul and divinity of your dearly beloved Son," she recited. As she repeated this new prayer, the angel became helpless and could not inflict the punishment God had ordained. The storm of wrath dissipated into the clouds, and the city was spared through the power of this specific intercession. The next morning, Jesus instructed her, "This prayer serves to appease my wrath. It is the Chaplet of Divine Mercy. Recite it unceasingly," he commanded, "for it opens the floodgates of mercy to the world." He promised that even the most hardened sinner would receive grace if they recited this chaplet just once. At the hour of their death, I defend as my own glory every soul that will say this chaplet. To settle the growing controversy, Mother Superior summoned a psychiatric specialist to examine Sister Faustina's mental faculties. Faustina sat patiently in a cold, sterile room, while the doctor asked probing questions to find a crack in her sanity. "Do you hear voices often? Do they tell you to do things contrary to your vows?" he interrogated sharply. "I hear the voice of truth, and he asks only for love and mercy," Faustina answered with disarming clarity. After hours of examination, the doctor closed his notebook, unable to find any trace of hysteria or delusion. "She is perfectly sane," he reported to the disappointed nuns. "In fact, her mind is sharper than most." Despite the medical clearance, the whispers in the convent corridors did not cease, fueling Faustina's isolation. Father Sopocko faced his own trials, as the bishop remained hesitant to approve the public veneration of the image. He visited Faustina, looking weary, admitting, "The church moves slowly, sister. They fear this is a novelty. But the Lord is in a hurry." Faustina replied urgently. Souls are perishing while we debate protocols. A formal theological review was convened to analyze the content of Faustina's diary for any heresy. Father Sepoko defended her writings, arguing that an uneducated nun could not invent such profound theology. Listen to this, he read to the committee. The two rays denote blood and water. The pale ray stands for the water, which makes souls righteous. The red ray stands for the blood. These rays shield souls from the wrath of my Father, he quoted, his voice echoing in the chamber. The theologians fell silent, struck by the consistency of the message with the gospel and the sacraments. Meanwhile, the spiritual battle manifested physically, and Tanya's rebellion reached a breaking point. She sneaked out of the convent at night to meet her lover, Eric, seeking escape from her vocation. Faustina, sensing the danger to Tanya's soul, spent the night in prostrate prayer, offering her suffering for the girl. Lord, do not let her be lost. Take my health, take my comfort, but save her soul, she bargained. Eric, Tanya's lover, stood in the shadows, his face a mask of impatience as she approached him. You're late, he hissed, grabbing her arm roughly. I told you we had to leave the city tonight. Tanya pulled back, fear replacing her romantic illusions. Eric, you're hurting me. Where are we going? Away from here, away from your precious nuns, he sneered, dragging her towards a waiting carriage. Suddenly, a sense of dread washed over Tanya, and she remembered Faustina's warning about false promises. No, she screamed, breaking free from his grip. I can't go with you. You don't love me. Eric raised his hand to strike her, but a sudden, blinding light stopped him in his tracks. He shielded his eyes, terrified by the inexplicable radiance, and fled into the darkness, leaving Tanya alone. Sobbing, Tanya ran back to the convent, pounding on the heavy wooden gate until the porter opened it. She collapsed into the arms of Mother Superior, confessing everything through her tears. The next morning, Faustina found Tanya in the chapel, kneeling before the tabernacle, broken but safe. He saved me, sister, Tanya whispered, clutching Faustina's hand. I felt your prayers holding me back. Faustina smiled weakly, her own strength drained by the night's spiritual combat. But her mission was far from over. Jesus appeared again, urging the spread of the devotion. My daughter, look at the abyss of my mercy. Do not fear to tell the world about it. He showed her a vision of the future, where the Divine Mercy image was venerated in churches across the globe. Yet, he also showed her the suffering she would endure, rejection, illness, and the silence of the tomb. You will not see the full fruit of your labor on earth, he told her gently, but your suffering will be the seed that grows into a great tree of mercy for future generations. Faustina accepted this cross, writing in her diary, My name is to be sacrifice. Her tuberculosis advanced aggressively, ravaging her lungs and intestines, leaving her bedridden for days at a time. The pain was excruciating, a constant burning fire within her body that no medicine could quell. Yet, she offered every spasm of pain for the conversion of sinners, whispering, Jesus, for you and for souls. Sister Jolanta, softening at the sight of such suffering, began to tend to Faustina with more gentleness. Sister, why do you not ask him to heal you if he loves you so much? Jolanta asked, wiping Faustina's brow. Because suffering is the currency with which we buy souls for heaven, Faustina replied with a weak smile. Even in her agony, the devil did not leave her alone, visiting her in terrifying forms to induce despair. He appeared as a black dog, growling at the foot of her bed, or as a dark shadow suffocating her. You are damned, the voices hissed. God has abandoned you. Your work is a lie. But Faustina clutched her crucifix, reciting the chaplet until the demons fled before the name of mercy. One afternoon, Jesus appeared and said, My daughter, you are the secretary of my mercy. Write that the greater the sinner, the greater the right he has to my mercy. He urged her to write about the final coming, a warning that chilled her to the bone. Before I come as the just judge, I am coming first as the King of mercy. Before the day of justice arrives, there will be given to people a sign in the heavens. She wrote of a time when all light in the heavens will be extinguished, and there will be great darkness. Then the sign of the cross will be seen in the sky, and from the openings where the hands and feet were nailed, will come forth great lights, which will light up the earth for a period of time. Faustina trembled as she recorded these apocalyptic visions, knowing the world was unprepared. "Write this down," Jesus commanded, "so that no soul may claim ignorance on the day of judgment. I desire that during these 9 days you bring souls to the fountain of my mercy," Jesus instructed her. "On each day, you will bring to my heart a different group of souls and immerse them in this ocean. On the first day, bring to me all mankind, especially all sinners," he commanded with infinite love. Faustina wrote feverishly, envisioning a vast sea of broken humanity marching towards the divine heart. "On the second day, bring to me the souls of priests and religious," he continued. "They gave me strength to endure my bitter passion," he said, showing her a vision of faithful clergy. "On the third day, bring to me all devout and faithful souls," he requested with a gentle smile. "On the fourth day, bring those who do not believe in God and those who do not yet know me. On the fifth day, bring to me the souls of those who have separated themselves from my church. On the sixth day, bring the meek and humble souls and the souls of little children. On the seventh day, bring the souls who especially venerate and glorify my mercy. On the eighth day, bring the souls who are detained in purgatory," he said with deep compassion. "And on the ninth day, bring to me souls who have become lukewarm," Jesus said, his face pained. "These souls wound my heart most painfully in the Garden of Olives," he revealed to her with sorrow. Faustina recorded the novena with a trembling hand, her body weak but her spirit obedient to the end. Father Sopoco visited her bedside, reading the newly written pages with profound reverence and astonishment. "Sister, these words are not your own. They are a theological treasure given for these times," he assured her. "I feel my time is short, Father. I have not yet established the congregation he asked for," she worried. "Do not worry, sister. You have planted the seeds, and God will raise the workers in his time," he comforted. She smiled, letting go of the anxiety, trusting that the work of mercy belonged to God, not her. "At 3 o'clock, implore my mercy, especially for sinners," Jesus instructed, "and if only for a brief moment, immerse yourself in my passion. This is the hour of great mercy for the whole world," he declared. "It is the hour when grace triumphed over justice." He promised her, "In this hour, I will refuse nothing to the soul that makes a request of me in virtue of my passion." Faustina resolved to pray the Stations of the Cross at this hour, or at least step into the chapel for a moment. One evening, a brilliant, unnatural light appeared over the convent, illuminating the roof and the surrounding gardens. Faustina watched from her window, captivated by the radiance, knowing it was a sign of divine presence. But the other sisters rushed to the windows, dismissing the miracle with pragmatic explanations and fear. "It is just a searchlight from the military camp," Sister Jolanta insisted, closing the curtains. "They are training for war, or perhaps the reflection of an airplane," another nun added nervously. "Rumors say the Germans are mobilizing." Faustina knew the light was not of this earth, but she also knew the sisters were right about the coming darkness. In her prayer, Jesus revealed a prophecy that would shape the future of her nation and the church. "I bear a special love for Poland," he told her, "and if she is obedient to my will, I will exalt her in might and holiness. From her will come forth the spark that will prepare the world for my final coming." Faustina wrote down the mysterious words, unaware that this spark would one day be Pope John Paul II. Father Sopoco read the entry with furrowed brows, trying to decipher the meaning of this spark from Poland. Is it the devotion itself, or a person? He wondered, feeling the weight of history in the small notebook. As the seasons changed, Faustina's body finally gave out, and she was confined permanently to the infirmary bed. Her coughing fits were violent, yet she remained cheerful, treating her illness as a final offering. She prepared for her death not as an end, but as a wedding day, eagerly awaiting the bridegroom. The sisters gathered, sensing the end was near, and Mother Superior asked Faustina to beg pardon from the community. "I ask forgiveness of you, sisters, for my lack of love and my many faults," Faustina whispered weakly. Sister Jolanta wept openly, finally realizing that she had judged a saint, not a shirker. On the 5th of October, 1938, at the age of 33, Sister Faustina looked up, smiled at an invisible guest, and breathed her last. Her passing was as quiet as a falling leaf, unnoticed by the world, but celebrated by the angels. Father Sopocko took possession of her diaries, feeling the heavy weight of the mission now resting solely on his shoulders. "You are gone, sister, but your work has only just begun," he promised silently at her simple graveside. Less than a year later, the dark clouds Faustina had prophesied broke open over Poland with terrifying violence. On the 1st of September 1939, Nazi Germany invaded, and the sky turned black with bombers, fulfilling her vision of darkness. The sirens wailed across Warsaw, a mechanical scream that marked the beginning of the Second World War. As bombs reduced ancient buildings to rubble, the people remembered the nuns' warning about the day of justice. In the damp, crowded air raid shelters, terrified families clutched small, hand-copied prints of the Divine Mercy image. They recited the Chaplet of Divine Mercy, their voices rising above the sound of explosions. "Have mercy on us, and on the whole world." The prayer spread like wildfire through the underground resistance, the hospitals, and even the concentration camps. Amidst this horror, a young man named Karol Wojtyła was living in Krakow, witnessing the devastation of his homeland. Forced to work in a chemical quarry to avoid deportation, young Karol walked in wooden shoes, praying constantly. He would pass the convent in Łagiewnicki every day on his way to work, drawn to the message of mercy radiating from within. In this darkness, only the limitlessness of God's mercy can save us, the future Pope realized in the depths of the quarry. While the world burned around him, the spark from Poland was being forged in the fire of suffering. Father Sopocko, now in hiding from the Gestapo, continued to preach the message, printing leaflets on secret presses. He knew that this war was the testing ground for the promise. Mankind will not have peace until it turns to my mercy. But as the devotion spread, a new shadow fell. Faulty translations of the diary reached the Vatican. Due to errors in grammar and theology within these poor translations, the Holy Office grew suspicious of the message. In 1959, a notification was issued, forbidding the spread of the devotion in the forms proposed by Sister Faustina. The images were removed from churches, and the message of mercy seemed to be silenced by the Church's own hand. Father Sopocko, now an old man, accepted this crushing blow with the obedience of a saint. He remembered Faustina's prophecy. There will come a time when this work will be as though undone. But then, she had written, God will act with great power, and the work will flourish. While the silence of the tomb descended on the mission, God was moving the pieces on the chessboard of history. In 1965, Karol Wojtyła, now the Archbishop of Krakow, opened the informative process on Sister Faustina's life. He tasked theologians with retranslating and analyzing the diary from the original Polish, bypassing the faulty texts. The true beauty and orthodoxy of her writings emerged, clearing away the fog of misunderstanding. Then came October 1978. The cardinals gathered in Rome, and white smoke rose from the Sistine Chapel. A pope from a far country was chosen, and Karol Wojtyła stepped onto the balcony as John Paul II. The spark from Poland had ignited, and the man who had walked in wooden shoes near the convent was now Peter. One of his first acts was to review the prohibition, and in 1978, the ban on Divine Mercy was officially lifted. In 1980, he penned his second encyclical, Dives in Misericordia, Rich in Mercy. Placing the message at the center of his pontificate, he declared to the world that mercy is the second name of love, echoing the humble nun's diary. The Pope returned to Poland, visiting the tomb of Faustina in Łagiewnicki, kneeling where he had prayed as a factory worker. I have felt the presence of this message from the very beginning of my priesthood, he confessed to the sisters. The road was now paved for the final triumph, the elevation of the humble secretary to the glory of the altars. On the first Sunday after Easter in the great Jubilee year of 2000, Rome was awash with a sea of pilgrims. St. Peter's Square was transformed into a vibrant mosaic of flowers, with the red and white flags of Poland waving proudly. Pope John Paul II sat beneath the colossal tapestry of the humble nun, his face beaming with an indescribable joy. With a trembling but strong voice, He proclaimed Sister Faustina Kowalska the very first saint of the new millennium. By this act, he declared to the gathered millions, "I intend today to pass this message on to the new millennium." He officially established the second Sunday of Easter as Divine Mercy Sunday for the Universal Church, fulfilling the Lord's request. The specific demand Jesus made to his secretary in the obscurities of the 1930 seconds was finally canonized by his vicar. The diary, once banned, mistranslated, and locked away in the archives, was now quoted from the chair of Peter. Faustina's prophecy about the spark preparing the world was unfolding before the eyes of the entire world. But the story of Divine Mercy is not merely about a nun or a pope. It is about the message itself. This message is a lifeline thrown into the turbulent, overwhelming ocean of modern despair and confusion. In a world broken by anxiety, isolation, and the fear of the future, the image stands as a beacon of hope. Jesus told Faustina clearly, "Mankind will not have peace until it turns with trust to my mercy." This is not a passive waiting, but an active, courageous trust, a refusal to give in to the encroaching darkness. The image of Jesus walking towards us, stepping into our mess, is the beating heart of the gospel. His right hand is raised not to strike or condemn, but to bless, to heal, and to forgive. His left hand pulls aside his garment to reveal the source of an infinite love that burns for humanity. The two rays, red and pale, are the blood and water that cleanse, justify, and restore the soul to life. It is a reminder that no sin is greater than his mercy. No pit is too deep for his arm to reach. As Jesus promised, the greater the sinner, the greater the right he has to my mercy. But this devotion demands more than just looking at a picture. It requires a radical transformation of the human heart. Jesus demanded deeds of mercy, which are to arise out of love for him, not just philanthropy. You are to show mercy to your neighbors, always and everywhere, he commanded. You must not shrink from this. He taught Faustina the 3 degrees of mercy. First by deed, second by word, and third by prayer. Without these tangible actions, the image remains merely paint on canvas, devoid of its life-changing power. The Chaplet of Divine Mercy, recited on ordinary rosary beads, serves as a powerful weapon for the dying. When they say this chaplet in the presence of the dying, "I will stand between my Father and the dying person. I will not stand as the just judge," he promised, but as the merciful Savior. Countless testimonies echo from hospital rooms where peace descended upon agonized souls as the prayer began. It is the last plank of salvation for those who have seemingly lost all hope in their final moments. Even if a sinner were most hardened, reciting this prayer once, with a contrite heart, opens the floodgates of grace. The hour of mercy, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, is a daily appointment with God's unfathomable love. It marks the exact moment Jesus breathed his last on the cross, tearing the veil of the temple. "In this hour," he said, "I will refuse nothing to the soul that makes a request of me in virtue of my passion." It is a moment to step out of the busy world and stand spiritually beneath the cross on Calvary. One does not need a chapel or a long hour. A brief thought or a silent cry for mercy suffices. Jesus, mercy, whispered in the middle of a workday, connects the soul instantly to the power of his sacrifice. This devotion is not a heavy burden but a liberation, a way to turn anxiety into active trust. It answers the modern crisis of loneliness, reminding us that even in our darkest hour, we are never abandoned. The rays of the image reach out specifically to the broken, the addicted, and the despairing, offering a way home. The only vessel capable of drawing graces from the fountain of mercy is a single, simple virtue: trust. The more a soul trusts, the more it will receive, Jesus promised, establishing a divine economy of faith. Trust is not a feeling of emotional comfort, but a stubborn act of the will, saying, "Jesus, I trust in you," amidst storms. Faustina recorded conversations between the merciful God and different types of souls to illustrate this dynamic interaction. To the sinful soul, he says, "Be not afraid of your Savior. I come to you with hands full of graces. Do not argue with me about your wretchedness," he gently chides. "It gives me pleasure to hand you my mercy." To the despairing soul, standing on the edge of the abyss, he speaks with urgent, life-saving tenderness. Your darkness is not darker than my light. Let the rays of my grace enter your soul and heal you. He reminds the suffering soul that they are not a burden, but a precious treasure purchased by his blood. You are the delight of my eyes, he whispers to the one who feels worthless, unloved, and forgotten. This message is a direct antidote to the modern epidemic of self-loathing and the crushing feeling of meaninglessness. It tells the addict, the prisoner, and the failure that their value is infinite because it is defined by God. The image of divine mercy acts as a mirror, reflecting not our sins, but the face of the one who loves us. It invites us to stop looking at our own festering wounds and start looking at his, where healing is found. I am love and mercy itself, Jesus declared. There is no misery that could be a match for my mercy. Like a drop of water falling into a blazing furnace, human sin is consumed instantly by the fire of his love. But the soul must be willing to let go of the sin, to drop it into the fire, rather than clinging to it. This act of letting go is often the hardest part, requiring the courage to believe one is actually forgivable. The devil, the accuser of the brethren, works tirelessly to convince souls that they are beyond redemption. But the signature on the painting, Jesus, I trust in you, is the shield that deflects these fiery darts of despair. But receiving mercy is only half of the equation. The other half is the command to be merciful. Jesus told Faustina, I demand from you deeds of mercy, which are to arise out of love for me. This is not an optional suggestion for the pious, but a fundamental requirement for every follower. We are called to be reflections of his light, bringing mercy into our homes, workplaces, and streets. A kind word to a difficult relative, a silent prayer for an enemy, or a coin given to the poor. Jesus specifically warned about the tongue, calling it a small member that causes great destruction to souls. The tongue can be a vessel of mercy, he taught, or a sword that kills the spirit of your neighbor. Today, the epicenter of this global mission is the Shrine of Divine Mercy in Krakow, Łagiewnicki. What was once a humble convent garden where a sick nun walked is now a gleaming, modern basilica. Millions of pilgrims flock there annually, seeking the source of the spark that Jesus prophesied to Faustina. In 2002, Pope John Paul II returned there to solemnly entrust the entire world to divine mercy. His voice, now aged and trembling, rang out with prophetic strength. There is no other source of hope for mankind. In the Perpetual Adoration Chapel, the Blessed Sacrament is exposed day and night, a fire that never goes out. Here, the promise of the spark from Poland finds its physical manifestation, radiating light to the ends of the earth. Below the altar lie the white marble relics of Saint Faustina, the humble secretary who started it all. People from every continent kneel on the stone floor, touching her tomb, weeping and finding peace. The devotion has transcended its Polish roots to become a universal language of the Catholic faith. In the jungles of Africa, the skyscrapers of Asia, and the suburbs of America, the image is there. The face of Jesus may be framed differently in every culture, but the red and pale rays remain the same. It is a testament that human suffering is universal, but so is the cure found in his wounded side. The message of divine mercy is a paradox. It is simple enough for a child, yet too deep for a theologian. It can be summarized in the ABC of mercy: ask for mercy, be merciful, and completely trust. This simple formula is a roadmap to sanctity that does not require leaving the world for a monastery. Faustina's life proves that holiness is found not in great deeds, but in great love within small duties. She peeled potatoes, answered the gate, and swept the floor. Yet with each motion, she saved souls. This validates the little way of spiritual childhood, showing that the kitchen can be as holy as the altar. But this message also carries a grave warning that modern man ignores at his own peril. We live in an age that attempts to build a civilization without God, a modern Tower of Babel. This rejection of the divine leads inevitably to a culture of death, where human life loses its sacred dignity. Divine mercy is the antidote to this poison, restoring the infinite value of every human person. Jesus spoke clearly to Faustina about the time of mercy as a specific, limited epoch in history. I am prolonging the time of mercy for the sake of sinners, he explained, holding back the arm of justice. But woe to them if they do not recognize this time of my visitation," he added with solemn gravity. "Before he comes as the just judge, he is opening wide the doors of his mercy. Once this time passes, the door will close, and the opportunity for conversion will be lost forever." This urgency is what drove Faustina to offer her life as a holocaust for sinners. She understood that eternity hangs in the balance of our present choices and our willingness to trust. "My heart is drawn to where there is pain," she wrote, echoing the very heartbeat of God. We are not called to be indifferent bystanders in this spiritual drama, but active participants. Each of us has a role to play in snatching souls from the brink of despair and bringing them to the light. The primary fountain where this mercy flows is the tribunal of mercy, the sacrament of confession. Jesus told Faustina, "There the greatest miracles take place and are incessantly repeated. Many fear the confessional, seeing only a judgment seat, but he revealed it as a place of resurrection. When you approach the confessional, know this, that I, myself, am waiting there for you," he promised. "I am only hidden by the priest, but I myself act in your soul, healing the wounds of sin." He urged souls to come with faith, placing their misery at his feet to receive his infinite peace. The second great channel of this grace is the Holy Eucharist, the very bread of life. Faustina saw the two rays, red and pale, piercing through the sacred host in the monstrance. This confirmed that the divine mercy is not an abstract concept, but a living person present on the altar. "I desire to unite myself with human souls," he said. "My great delight is to unite with souls." Today, this message has ignited a global fire, from the bustling streets of Manila to the cathedrals of Rome. In the Philippines, the 3 o'clock habit stops traffic and pauses television broadcasts to honor the moment of mercy. In the Americas, the chaplet is recited by millions as a spiritual weapon against the culture of violence. It brings peace to families torn apart by addiction, proving that no situation is beyond the reach of grace. Faustina once used the chaplet to stop a violent physical storm that threatened to destroy the convent garden. As she prayed, she saw the angel of the storm unable to cause destruction, powerless against the prayer. This incident reveals that the chaplet has power not just over the spiritual realm, but over nature itself. In an age of nuclear threats and environmental fear, this prayer is a shield for a fragile planet. Jesus promised that by saying the chaplet, we appease the just anger of God towards a sinful world. It stands as a barrier, a spiritual dam holding back the floodwaters of judgment that humanity deserves. The Mother of God also plays a crucial role, appearing to Faustina as the Mother of Mercy. "I am not only the Queen of Heaven," Mary told her, "but also the Mother of Mercy and your mother." She taught the nun that true greatness is found not in noise, but in humble, silent union with God. "Your lives must be like mine, quiet and hidden," Mary instructed, guiding her in the interior life. Jesus warned that this devotion is the last hope of salvation for a world that has lost its way. "If they will not pass through the door of my mercy, they must pass through the door of my justice." This stark choice is not a threat from a tyrant, but the ultimate respect for human free will. God loves us too much to force us into heaven. We must choose to walk through the open door. Saint Faustina, having completed her earthly mission, did not retire to a passive heavenly rest. "I feel that my mission will not end with my death, but will begin," she prophesied in her diary. From heaven, she continues to be the active secretary, pleading for souls day and night before the throne. She keeps her promise to come back to earth to encourage those who are drowning in doubt. You do not need to be a mystic or a saint to access these extraordinary graces in your daily life. The vessel of trust is open to everyone. The tired mother, the stressed executive, the lonely student. The key to this treasury is a single, short sentence. "Jesus, I trust in you." It is a prayer that can be exhaled in a traffic jam, whispered in a boardroom, or cried in a hospital. When you say these words, you hand the steering wheel of your life over to the divine captain. He calms the storms, not always by removing the waves, but by giving you peace amidst them. This is the secret that transformed a fearful, uneducated farm girl into a spiritual giant of the church. And it is the same secret offered to you today, in whatever darkness you currently find yourself. Jesus promised that the home where this image is displayed and venerated will be a fortress against spiritual attacks. "I will preserve the cities and homes in which this image is found," he assured, offering a shield for the family. It is not a magic talisman, but a constant visual reminder to live in the presence of God. When you look at his face, you are reminded that you are not an orphan wandering in the cosmos. You are a beloved child of a Father who has gone to the ends of the earth to find you. "My heart is your resting place," he told Faustina, "and my mercy is your only hope." In a world that is often cold, calculating, and unforgiving, his heart is a furnace of burning love. Saint Faustina showed us that sanctity does not require us to abandon our daily duties or stations in life. You can be a saint while changing diapers, crunching numbers, sweeping streets, or leading nations. The only requirement is to let the rays of mercy pass through you to those around you. The spark from Poland has now become a global fire, lighting up the darkness of the third millennium. But a fire needs fuel to keep burning, and that fuel is your trust and your prayers. Jesus is asking you today, will you help me save souls? Will you be my hands and feet? The darkness of the modern age is deep, but the light of the resurrection is infinitely brighter. Do not listen to the voices that say the world is too broken or that you are too sinful. Those are the whispers of the enemy, trying to keep you from the source of your healing. Look again at the image. Notice that Jesus is not standing still, frozen in a distant heaven. He is stepping forward, his left foot in motion, crossing the threshold to come into your life. He is bridging the gap between the divine and the human, refusing to stay in the sanctuary. He wants to enter your mess, your pain, and your confusion to transform it into glory. The vessel for this grace is simple, yet it holds the power to contain the infinite God. That vessel is the signature inscribed at the bottom of the painting. Jesus, I trust in you. These 5 words are a rope thrown to a drowning man, strong enough to pull him out of any abyss. Today, the invitation is extended to you. Will you take hold of this rope and let him save you? The choice is yours. The door is open, the table is set, and the king is waiting. Saint Faustina's life was a testament that God uses the weak to shame the strong. She is no longer just a Polish nun in a history book. She is a sister praying for you right now. The ocean of mercy is vast, shoreless, and deep enough to drown every sin you have ever committed. Do not stand on the shore, paralyzed by fear or guilt, watching the waves from a distance. Dive in, immerse yourself in the fountain, and let the water and blood wash you clean. As you look upon this image one last time, let his gaze penetrate the fortress of your heart. Those eyes, which looked upon Faustina with such love, are now looking directly at you. They are not the eyes of a judge seeking to condemn, but of a Savior seeking to love. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and his promise remains unbroken. I am love and mercy itself, he whispers across the centuries, and there is no misery that can match me. So let us echo the prayer of the humble secretary, the prayer that changes history. Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. Go in peace, for you are loved with an everlasting love.